Welcome to JC Connect. In the previous class, we were discussing about the module 2. The module 2, uh, different processing techniques are there to reduce the chemical volume reduction and some of the 3D concepts that also we'll discuss, and some of the principal components which are there in the uh, design of municipal solid waste incinerators. That also we will discuss in the second module. And during the processing of this, for example, for example, during the processing, normally one processing is called incineration. Incineration is one process of burning a solid waste, burning a solid waste in a chamber. During this, what will happen is that normally the CO2, carbon dioxide, some of the nitrogen dioxide, and SO2 are going to release, um, and you're not supposed to release as it is. So then we have to provide. Suppose if the chimney will be there, normally these all the gases after burning, it will transfer through the chimney only. So then in this chimney we have to give some of the air pollution control equipments. So what these equipments will do? See, these equipments normally will not allow the carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide to the atmosphere. It will not allow to go to the atmosphere. So that also we will discuss in this model. How that all equipments, some of the major equipments like you have a gravity separator is one equipment to reduce the air pollution, um, or it is one of the air pollution control equipment. Then one more called the mechanical volume reduction. How the volume reduction and the some of the strength reduction techniques are there during the processing of the solid waste. That also we will discuss in the um, second module. And the third module is completely related to the composting. See, in the previous second module, only it is related to the some of the um, non-biodegradable components. Means if they are degradable, for example, if you take any wood waste, or if you take a paper waste, or if you take food waste, you're not supposed to burn all that food waste because it is biodegradable. Non-biodegradable means, assume that if it is a plastic, um, some of the polymer based uh, if solid waste is there, so then that can be processed, or that can be recycled, or that can be reused in the second module. That we will discuss in the second module. In the third module, it is completely related to the biodegradable biodegradable components. So some of the techniques like aerobic and anaerobic method of processing means, here what we are doing is that some of the techniques called vermicomposting. Vermicomposting technique we will discuss in this module. So there are either it is through an anaerobic process or sometimes it will be through an anaerobic process. So that all two process we'll discuss in this module. So then process microbiology. The process microbiology in the sense what kind of bacteria are involved in the uh, the anaerobic or aerobic, it is completely related to the bacteria. Normally we have three types of bacteria are there. So aerobic and anaerobic. Then you have facultative. So aerobic bacteria is it will survive in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic bacteria it will survive in the presence of absence of oxygen. Facultative presence as well as absence. So this bacteria, if it sometimes if it is not there, it will survive in absence of the oxygen also. So this process microbiology, what kind of bacteria are involved, what kind of uh, microbiological activities are happening, that we are going to discuss in this module. Then how this composting bin can be designed, that also will discuss what are the design considerations. So then mechanical composting, vermicomposting, some of the numerical problems also we'll discuss. Then sanitary landfilling. I already discussed what is landfilling technique and the dumping yard. We have differences are there. The landfill technique is normally it is an engineering technique of um, uh, disposing any of the solid waste to the yard. Dumping site it is a non-engineering technique, so we are not taking any precautions during the dumping of the solid waste. Then site selection methods, um, reaction occurring in the landfill. So what kind of that leachate I already discussed, the leachate how exactly it will be transported from the landfill site to an groundwater or landfill site to an surface water. Then how it can be controlled, that is a gas, how exactly the movement will be there, leachate movement in the groundwater as well as the surface water, even to the soil, how exactly it is moving, that also we'll discuss in this. I already discussed the difference between the leachate and the some of the any type of liquids. So then design of landfills and some of the design considerations of the numerical problems also we will discuss. Some of the sources, um, uh, collections. In the fourth module, we are going to discuss the sources and how exactly it will be collected, how exactly it will be treated, and how exactly disposal of, especially for the biomedical waste. Biomedical waste. See, the biomedical waste it represents the waste releasing from the hospitals, releasing from the hospitals. So then um, e-waste, that is waste releasing from the many of the electronic industries and some of the electrical industries. Um, for example, uh, the computer boards or circuit boards or ICs. So if they are not usable, then how that can be used, how that can be processed. Then hazardous waste. Best example is battery. batteries, and lead based waste. So, how this can be then the construction waste? How the construction waste can be disposed in, or how it can be processed in, um, as a energy recovery or the resource recovery. Ultimately, the our motive should be to recover energy, or to recover to recover to recover the resources. That has to happen. Then in the fifth module, that is incineration technique, um, that we are how exactly the incineration has to happen. Normally, um, for example, in hospitals, for example, if any used injections, saline bottles, and for example, any part of the body, part of the body, if they are removed it during operations, ultimately that all the things we have to burn only. That is the only option with us today. Uh, you're not supposed to go for any of the biodegradable or non-biodegradable, because they are all contents of many of the pathogens. Directly, if you transfer to any aerobic technique or anaerobic technique, normally what will happen is that uh, uh, the pathogens which are present in that saline bottles or used injections, that will be transferred to a soil or to the water environment. If you want to stop that, ultimately that you have to burn all those waste which are arising from the hospitals. So normally that will be packed in, you might have seen that will be packed in black, that will be packed in uh, black polythene bags, because sometimes these are all light sensitive, light sensitive. In that case, what we have to do is that we have to burn the solid waste instead of going for any of the processing techniques. So then, it is completely related to incineration. What type of incinerations are there? Sometimes we'll burn in the presence of oxygen. Of course, if you want to burn any of the mm, mm, for example, if you want to burn any of the used injection saline bottles, you require the oxygen. Oxygen acts like, if oxygen is there, only the burning is going to happen. But sometimes um, oxygen required for the burning, of course. Sometimes we can burn in the absence of oxygen also. That we can normally call it as a pyrolysis. Pyrolysis stands for the burning of any of the waste material in the absence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen. So that also how exactly the things has going to happen. What are the methods are there? How exactly it will be constructed? What will be the method that we'll discuss in the pyrolysis, and the design criteria for incineration. For example, how much quantity of the waste is generating? What will be the size of my incinerator? So that all the things we'll discuss in the module 5. So then, energy recovery technique from the uh, solid waste management, how the energy can be recovered and during the incineration process. So that also we will discuss in this module 5. So next, uh, once you study this course, you should be able to analyze what kind of solid waste it is there. If you see any of the solid waste, you should be able to understand what kind of solid waste, how to process it, that all the things, uh, how exactly how to process it, that you should be able to uh, find out it. Second one, you should be able to evaluate the different elements of solid waste management system. So then, what kind of elements are that are present in a group of solid waste, that you should be able to identify it. Then, how exactly it will be processed. The third, uh, in the third, here processing technique that you are going to understand. Then design of, for example, once you know the how much quantity of solid waste is going to generate it and what kind of solid waste is going to generate it, then um, you should be able to design a suitable processing technique or to evaluate the disposal sites. Like I already discussed that what will be the landfill site and what will be the uh, dumping site. Then these are some of the standard textbooks that you have to refer for. That is a Bible, that you have a Pavilion Row. If you open that environmental engineering book, at the end of this book, you have this separate chapters are there. Then you have to, some of the reference book like um, uh, by CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. They have given some of the rules and regulations. For that you have to refer it. Then you have CPHO manual is also available, that is 2016 Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India. That also you can refer. That's a very good book. Then Handbook of Solid Waste, second edition. That also you can use it. Other than this, we have one more very good book called a professor from IASC, TV Ramchandra sir, has written very good book. That also you can refer. It's a very good book. It's a very good book. That also you can refer for this subject. Then we'll start the syllabus of or dictating or the explanation of each of the sources of the solid waste, first module of this subject, in the next class.